Welcome to Fast Cars, Fast Girls. We are your IndyCar experience. And this week we've got Vin Venegas with us. So, Vin, thanks for joining us.
Woo.
Thanks for having me.
Of
doing this-
course.
I was mid-sip.
That's okay. That's how everybody is.
No judgment. So, for those of you who may not have met Vin, you must not have been at our campsite at a Road America race.
Yep.
Because he can often be found there at Road America and at many other races. But you might know him on Twitter, and you might know him by his artwork. So, Vin, let's just start with, how'd you get into IndyCar?
So, my dad was always kind of a car guy. And one rainy Memorial Day weekend, Sunday, when Nigel Mansell was making his debut in 8500, my dad was like, "You should watch the 8500 with me." And I'm like, "Yeah, no." You know, I'm a little kid. I'm like, "Nah, probably
it's a no
not."
for me.
I'm like, probably not. And he's like, "No, watch it. It's good." And I was like instantly like hooked.
Yeah.
And then I'm from Wisconsin, so the next race was always the Milwaukee Mile. So of course he had to take me to the Milwaukee Mile then. And then from that, once I saw them like in person and you hear the sounds and you see the colors, because the colors on TV just don't do it justice. But when you see them live, it's like a totally different effect. And yeah, ever since then I've been like, oh, you know, go to as many as I can.
It's always the first one that hooks you.
It is. And I've been hooked ever since.
So I won't, say any of our ages, but so you've been a fan of IndyCar for a long time. Who would you say your all-time favorite driver? So I'll then ask you like your current crop. Who do you like the best? But like all-time history of IndyCar. Yeah.
All time like greatest, I'd say Mario Andretti.
Okay.
Favorite, Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Interesting. Okay. And so would he be your favorite then for like favorite current driver? Well, kind of current driver.
Probably like all time, to be honest with you.
Very cool.
He's a cool dude that I think a lot of people don't really see that side of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think his personality doesn't show as much on TV as it really is.
That is
I would agree with that.
very interesting to hear. I do think a lot of people don't see his personality, so it's interesting to hear that.
Yeah.
All right.
He's always been a pretty funny guy, one-on-one.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and Pato Award obviously is the new guy, that's kind of coming up. So when Ryan retires, Pato will probably be the one. My daughter's taking a liking to Pato and Joseph.
Nice. I find a lot of kids like Joseph. I don't know what it is, but that's a common answer for kids. Are like, yeah, Joseph Newgarden. I'm like, all right, a lot of kids like Joseph.
He has always gone to Road America with us.
Ah.
Had really no interest whatsoever. Like she loved to go and loved to like take pictures with the drivers, but that was about it. Like she never was like cheering or anything. And then this year, for whatever reason, it was like a switch got flipped, and she was totally into it. And with 2 laps to go at Road America, she's like, "Dad, let's take the golf cart and go to Victory Lane so we can party with Joseph." And as we're coming down the hill, I look on the Jumbotron, I see his car break down.
Oh,
and
no.
She doesn't realize it. I'm like, Sloan, he's not winning. And she wasn't grasping the concept. And we get to Victory Lane, and Alex Pillow pulls in. And she's like, she turns around, she looks at me and goes, "Dad, that's not Joseph." I'm like, "I told you his car broke."
Oh.
And she's like, "Dad, we have to go see him." She's like, "He led the whole race." She's like, "I just want to go give him a hug."
Aw.
So we literally sprinted down pit road to his pit and caught him. And he actually came back out. I was like, she just wants to give you a hug after a rough day. So he came back out. So then that, like, he's her idol.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
So that's how you capture the young fan.
You know what? You led right into the question. Was we've met your kiddo. She's great. It's not you're getting her into motorsports. I was gonna ask how how would you say, hey guys, here's how you get the younger fans? Like
That's
that
it right there.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't care about anything else. She wants to know, how does she make that personal connection with somebody she really can't really make that with.
Mm-hmm.
Very great.
And that's the easiest way to do it.
Awesome.
And the fact that he was like at a down moment, obviously he was pissed. You know, like, shit, I just lost the fucking race. And then here she's like, just I'll just give you a hug. You know,
right.
And he was cool about it.
That's so precious.
That is. I remember seeing you tweet that photo out, right?
Uh-huh.
It was very adorable.
My little rock star.
Yeah, I mean, but she's awesome anyway, so.
She is.
She's gotten me a lot of extra views on Twitter that have helped.
You know, sometimes you gotta just use the kids that way.
Sometimes.
No judgment.
Sometimes I feel guilty about it though. Like, screw it. She cost me a lot of money, so that way she makes up for it.
There you go.
Right. I'm like, she's getting free room and board right now. I see utilize her.
Exactly. Her thing is she wants to go to Long Beach next year because she wants to do the Disney of Long Beach double. So I told her, well, Dad's got to sell a lot of paintings for that to happen.
Now, is that where you go to the park and then to the race, or is there's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna try and do all that in like a week span.
So good luck.
No. Tell me about it.
That's a busy week, but that would be very fun.
Right now.
Yeah.
Try and figure out how to pull that one off.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of artists, so we alluded to this. You do a lot of great art. Create a lot of wonderful art. How did you get into, painting and illustrating?
So when I was a kid, obviously I drew and all that stuff all the time. And one of the years for the Milwaukee Mile, they had a design. It was like design your own program or something like that. It was like mid 90s, probably late 90s. I don't remember. And I was so pissed off because I didn't win. And I was like, what the hell? And I saw the one that won. I'm like, well, that's pretty good. But I was only a kid. I was like 15, cocky as shit. Like,
sure,
should have won that shit. I'm like, that's some bullshit. So ever since then, I've dabbled into it. And then I was probably in my late 20s and I hadn't picked up a pencil or anything in years. And I had went back to school and I took some art classes. And the art teachers started buying my stuff. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'm not terrible. Like maybe I could actually do something with this.
That's
so then with the IndyCar stuff, I reached out to Ryan Hunter-Reay, who had just won the championship. And I'm like, hey, is it cool if I do a painting for the yellow? He used to have those yellow parties in Indy before the 500. I'm like, is it cool if I, and he's like, oh yeah, cool, whatever, And I had never met him at that point, but I was like, oh, he seems like a cool dude, whatever. He just won the championship. I'm like, maybe something happens with it. Yeah. So I painted this painting, and I had saw him at a charity event that they had for the Milwaukee Mile race in December or it was January, and that was the first time I met him. And it was a movie theater event, and Michael Andretti was there, Zach Veach was there, a couple other guys were there, and all the fans were flocking to Michael Andretti. Ryan Hunter-Reay just wins the championship. Nobody knows who he is. He's bellied up at the bar all by himself. So my wife and I walk in, and he's just sitting there having a beer. And I'm like, oh, what's up, Ryan? And that's kind of how it started. He was like, oh, you know who I am, kind of thing.
That's hilarious.
So then we had drinks, and my wife was pregnant with Sloan, and she had her a week later. So Ryan was giving us parenting advice because he had just had his first.
Aww.
So we just kind of hung out. It was kind of cool. How often can you hang out with an IndyCar champion? So that's kind of how that all kicked off. So then I go to this yellow party with this painting. So my dad and I had never been to the Indy 500. And I'm like, I just really want to go to the Indy 500. So we go. And I'm like, we're going to go big. We're going to get, all the passes and everything you can get. I'm like, screw it. We're just going to do it all. So he's like, okay. And he doesn't care. He just kind of goes with the flow.
Sure.
So his yellow party was like the Thursday before the 500. I think it was like Thursday night. So coming from Wisconsin, it's like a 4-hour drive. So we leave Thursday morning. We get in a huge car accident in Chicago. So we literally had to turn around, go back to Wisconsin, switch cars, and then go back.
Oh my God.
So we get to this yellow party. Will Buxton's like doing this auction, like as we walk in. They're like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm carrying this painting. And I'm like, I got a painting. And they're like, that don't mean, they're like, that don't mean shit. Like, who are you? So Ryan comes up to the door. And he's like, oh, this is Vin. And he's like, Vin, who'd you bring? I'm like, oh, this is my dad, And he, I introduced him to my dad. And he was super nice. And he's like, oh, come over here, have a seat. And he like takes us over. He's a super nice guy. And he's like, we'll try to get, he's like, the silent auction or the auctions already started. He's like, I wanted to do a live auction. He's like, but I don't know if he's like, since it's already started, he's like, we might have to wait, until later. I'm like, oh, whatever. I didn't care. I was like, I'm here for the beer, for the food, whatever. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And he like hung out. Like he was a super nice guy. And like Becky hung out and like, they were just cool. Like we were right next to the band live. So my dad thought it was the coolest thing ever. He was like, oh my God, Vin. He's like, this is cool. Like, what the heck did you do? And I'm like, I don't know. Painted a picture. So kind of ever since then, it's kind of just gone from there. But that's kind of how the Ryan Hunter Ray thing started.
Very interesting.
So then, yeah, it's been cool. Can't complain.
No.
So I pretty much just do my art to like go to the racetrack. And that's like what's all about. Like, I have a job, so like that pays for my house and all the bullshit that goes with that. And then the art is just to go to the track and have fun.
Very cool. And I, going to your website, and if anybody wants to check it out, it's vendesignsart.com. And I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget.
Y'all did your research.
I just copied and pasted. That's it. Just copied and pasted. So you have a lot of motorsport pieces. What is it about, I guess, like racing that you're like wanting to put it on art? Is it the speed or the colors or?
So when it started, it was kind of the speed and the colors, like trying to make something that still look like it's in motion.
Very cool.
And now it's like to the point where that's all people want. like they think I'm just like the car dude. And I'm like, I can do other things, but it is what it is. I don't care.
Sure.
But like behind me, like I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's things that aren't cars. But people are like, oh, you do cars, okay, cool.
You're like, well, do others. So what other kinds of things do you? My computer is lagging, so I can't see behind you, and I'm sorry. But what?
Out.
I know. It's the internet. What
fine.
other things do you paint?
Like I've done like a lot of like dogs and stuff like that. I've done, like, okay, so behind me is a picture of Prince and an astronaut.
That's kind of cool.
So it's hard to see, obviously, but I think they might be on my website.
Okay.
VinDesignsArt.com if you didn't catch it the first time.
Don't worry, I'll put it out on the thing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You rock.
Well, it's what we do. Do you have what's like a favorite piece you've ever created? And I'll let you choose non-car art, even though everybody knows you as the car guy.
It'd still probably be car art, though, to be honest.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, so this past May, I did a Dan Weldon for the IndyCar Ministries auction that they have for the Indy 500.
Yeah.
That's probably number one right now.
I remember seeing that. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was a very cool piece.
Yeah, it raised a lot of money for them, so that was good.
Yeah. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, they're a good group of guys, and I've done a couple things for them in the past, so it worked out for all parties.
Yeah. Cool. Now, I remember seeing perhaps when when one is scrolling on Twitter, uh, you've got like a helmet collection or like mini helmets.
Yeah, so going back to my childhood, I
Yeah.
always thought it would be cool to be a helmet painter. And
Oh.
I don't have the patience, to be honest. I mean, it's a lot of like tape and mask and then paint and then tape and mask and paint and tape. Like you literally paint for 2 minutes and you literally have to draw with tape.
Oh.
And I honestly do not have the patience for it. I've tried it several times and failed miserably. So like I give those guys a ton of credit. But I've always liked that the helmets show the personality of the driver beyond the car. Because the car is all sponsor driven, and the helmet a lot of times shows what the driver likes or a color that the driver likes. So I'm like, I'll buy a helmet, and it kind of just grew from there. And now I just think it's kind of funny, just hang them in my garage, and that's the only place where my car stuff is allowed in the house. So I actually built a new garage that's bigger and cooler. So it's not like a stand. It's like more like a living space for me. Like it's got a big screen TV and
the
bar,
man cave, you can call it
refrigerator. Yeah. Totally. So like the helmets are just a thing.
Cool. Very cool. I agree with you. I think I absolutely love helmets, driver helmets. Even like the crew helmets are fun for me because they kind of tend to reflect. But yeah, like the personalization that goes into helmets, just
right. Because
yeah,
I think even the drivers, like from what they can say to what they gotta wear, like how it is, like walking in the pits, and some of them have to have their driver's suit on, even though it's hotter than shit. They ain't driving, but because they got to show the logo and do all that crap. The helmet is the one thing that I feel like is like sacred ground, a little bit at least.
Yeah.
That they can do their own thing.
I 100% agree. Favorite helmet then?
All
like
time or like current?
Whatever is easiest for you, or both.
All time, I'd have to say Senna. Because it's just so recognizable.
Yeah.
You see that yellow and you're like, oh, that okay. Yep.
Senna,
we know who that is. Yeah. Like of the it's weird though, because like it's evolved so much and they're so much more complex now. Like if you really like looked at them, you're like, holy shit, like there's a lot of shit going on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're cool. I like them.
Yeah.
And I'm jealous that I'm not that talented to be able to pull that shit off. Because I would.
It really
sounds like a lot of work.
It is
so much patience. I do not have.
And I think a lot of it is like these guys are just, they literally like taping a drawing on a fucking round surface. It's amazing to me that they can pull that off and it looks so flawless. It looks manufactured and it's not.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit jealous that I'm not that good.
You got other talents, right? People were put on this earth to do helmets.
Yeah.
Some of us were definitely not.
Nope, exactly. So I'll just buy them and admire them in my garage, drinking beer.
Perfect.
Yeah, listen to music.
I love the drivers tend to do a special helmet for the 500 too.
Me too. Like obviously now like IndyCar season is over, but Formula One is like in high gear right now. I love that they like change their helmets every race.
That is kind of fun with that.
As long as they like helmet, keep it
they change them
somewhat the same, I'm totally down with it, and I think it's cool. Just don't go too far with it.
Yeah, because it takes a lot of time to make them, as we have.
It does. It does.
Well, and let's be honest, from from a spectator standpoint, there are some cars that look very similar, and the helmet color is what differentiates. And so,
exactly.
Yep.
Like I'm already learning different liveries sometimes each week.
Ooh, you said liveries. That's good. You know it. Liveries, not paint scheme.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, always liveries.
All right. Okay,
Oh hell
good.
yeah.
Y'all are some livery girls.
We
Oh,
are.
that's one of my favorite things too. Because they, especially when you have your favorites, and then somebody throws in a special one every now and then. You're like, oh, it's like Christmas. There's a new livery out.
Yeah.
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 But keep it somewhat the same.
Yeah.
Keep
I'll allow
it
some
similar so it's still like recognizable.
Yeah.
Like don't just throw us a curveball and like completely change it. Like I feel like Graham Rahal's car is usually pretty similar but different.
Yeah, he keeps that red, white, and blue theme like strong.
It's not like totally different every fucking week. And you're like, dude, I don't even know what car it is.
Like, I don't know who to cheer for. Is he winning? I don't know.
Right.
I know sometimes I'll forget that Rossi has the pink livery, and I'll like be following, and I'm like, wait, that's too many pink cars. Wait, who did I forget? Who did I forget changed colors this week?
Yep. I know sometimes my wife, who just watches it casually, like if there's a yellow car, like, oh, is that Ryan? No, that's not Ryan.
It's Simon.
It's not Ryan. That's not him.
You gotta look for a little red in there.
Yep. You gotta look for the red or the blue helmet.
There you go.
So like I love the halo, obviously for
safety reasons
aspect of it.
Yeah.
But I hate that I don't get a good view of the helmet anymore.
I understand that completely. It does kind of obstruct the view of the helmet when they're in the car.
It does.
Yeah.
But obviously it's a necessity. So I'm cool with it. But I feel like they could get lamer with the helmets then because they're like, who cares?
They're like, nobody can see it.
Yeah.
They're just going to paint like the top quarter of it.
Right.
Although, I don't know, since that's their only way to be, like personally express themselves, I feel like they probably wouldn't get lazy with it.
But I feel like, look at like NASCAR. Not so much like the top guys, but a lot of those guys are boring. Like they have black and white helmets. Like that's stupid. Paint that shit. Get cool with it. Even if you just spray paint it yourself, it's better than white.
Maybe you should offer your services to them.
I'm probably not good enough though.
Get some spray paint. Just spray paint it for them.
Spray paint it. Maybe. Yeah. I'll do it. I'll graffiti it. I don't care.
There you go.
I'm down. Y'all have to find me a wall where I can like graffiti a race car.
That's
what I want to do next.
I know that I don't know who they open it to, but I know Indy does a lot of like public art in May.
But it's all like banners and stuff. I want like a permanent.
No, there's some stuff they've done graffiti stuff before.
Really?
Yeah, we have like
under. Damn, I'm missing out. I had to get with you girls then before I go, so I don't miss it.
We'll have to let you know.
Everything I see is like a banner. It's art, but it's banner.
They do. I think it. Yeah, depends on where you're looking.
All right. Well, I'm looking in the
keep your ears open.
Then, obviously.
Yeah.
Keep me posted.
Cool.
Keep me posted.
Absolutely.
I want the largest wall you can find. Maybe the Marriott.
There you go. Well, yeah.
Hey, why not? Do it.
They didn't do the thing last May, so go for it.
Go for it.
They need to
go
make
big, right?
Yeah. I take it the wife won't let you graffiti a wall in the man cave?
Well, she probably would, but I don't really want to. I want people to see it. They're not going to see it in my garage.
Well, not with
Twitter. Twitter? Come on. I ain't that big. I'm not that big.
Put the kid in front of it. Don't worry.
That's true. That's true. That's all. That ultimately will get me at least triple the views.
Yeah.
Or a puppy.
That'll open up your
puppy.
I don't have
That's
a puppy.
all you need.
I don't have a puppy.
I can't help you then.
Sloan's still at that sloppy stage where she leaves her Legos out and shit, and I'm not having a dog choke on it.
Yeah, no.
No, I feel bad.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We're not to that point yet.
Not there yet. Not quite responsible enough yet.
Nope. She's not there yet.
So, what do you see for Ryan Hunter-Reay's future?
See, now this is hard because I'd love to see him in the 20, which is what's rumored, obviously. And so at Nashville, I had like a long for whatever reason, the garage was empty or the paddock or whatever. And so get this, I gave a guy $60. I just had to be walking through, and he was like the gate guy, and he was like stopping traffic. He didn't know nothing about IndyCar. And I'm like, dude, look, I had 2 people with me. I'm like, can we just give you some cash right now and you just let us in? And he's like, oh, sweet, dude. He's like, he gave me wristbands.
Nice.
Yeah. And he was like, but be slick about it. Like,
all right. He's like,
okay.
Don't come in here and do anything stupid.
Yeah, because like at Nashville, the shit's like $300 to get in the pits.
Yeah.
Like, it's not worth it. I can go to Elkhart and get it for free.
Right.
So I'm like, people are stupid, but whatever. So we get in there and nobody is around. Like, it's empty as shit because nobody wants to pay $300 for or whatever it was to get in the pits. Like, nobody can pay that crap unless you got a media credential like you two.
Yeah.
So I'm just walking around and I'm at his like his garage or truck or hauler, whatever you want to call it. He's not around, obviously. The race just ends. His wife comes by. Oh, hey, Vin. I'm like, oh, hey, whatever. And I'm like trying to poke her for intel. And I'm like, I won't spill it because I'm not a media person. I don't really care. I'm just actually like genuinely asking a question. Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, we got options. She's like, but, we'll see kind of thing. And then he comes over and we had a long talk. And it was probably like 20 to 25 minutes of uninterrupted, like just chatting, which was kind of weird. But because obviously those guys always seem to get mauled, They do. It was so dead there. Nobody wanted to pay the money. Again, with that plug. But no, so like I knew, like I thought in the back of my head, like 20 car.
Yeah.
But Connor Daly's a good one too. Like,
yeah.
He has my stuff in his house or his condo.
Really?
Oh yeah, he does too. His mom, big fan of mine.
Well,
big fan of mine.
That's really all you need.
Oh yeah, Derek Daly, he's another one. Yep. They like me. Yep.
I mean, why don't we just ask Doug if you can, graffiti a wall at the IMS? I feel like
right.
We're solving problems here.
That's too sacred, though.
Yeah, I know.
I can't do it. Plus, I'm not an Indiana person. I'm from Wisconsin. That limits me. I've limited options. I've been reaching out to Road America, like, hey, let me spray paint some shit in the tunnels.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. That'd be cool, but it hasn't happened.
That would be
yet.
badass.
I'm still working that angle.
Yeah.
I'm still trying. That would be badass.
Yeah. Molly's dad once tried to take the Flamingo Mobile through that tunnel right by the mac and cheese place. It won't make it. Right.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
It does not.
I mean, so close and yet not at all close.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all. And the only person that didn't know it wasn't going to fit was Molly's dad. Molly and I were both like, this is not going to work. And we're like, but he's going to have to figure it out for himself.
But at least he tried.
Right? We're like, he's not going to listen to reason. Oh, he tried.
Oh, yeah. And then he had to back up.
The neck got caught on the chain.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hey, sometimes shit goes sideways.
It does.
It's all right.
Yep. It's all right. We rebounded. It was fine.
Yeah, we got through. We got the mac and cheese, and that's what matters.
Yeah, that was really
best
end of the
track
day.
food around.
Honestly, yes, hands down. Road America best track food.
It's not even close.
I'll fight people over this. This is an opinion I die on.
Yeah, no, it is absolutely.
I will die on that hill every day of the week.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Would Road America be like your current favorite track, and perhaps Milwaukee Mile, your like nostalgia?
So, like when I was a kid, the Milwaukee Mile was way different than what it is. Like when IndyCar went back, when Michael Andretti took it over.
Yeah.
Way different from when I was a kid. So if nobody, so it's on the state fairgrounds for the Wisconsin State Fair. They have food places galore there that when Michael Andretti took it over were closed. Because they were like, well, IndyCar's not big. I'm not going to open my stand for IndyCar. When I was a kid, all that shit was open. So you had umpteen million options. And it wasn't like just like, oh, you get a deep fried Oreo, on a stick type thing. It was like you got cool food. And it was way different. Like you could park on the infield.
Yeah.
So my dad, when I was a kid, we had a SUV. It was like when SUVs first were cool, like way back when. I'm dating myself.
That's right.
And we pull up to the inside of like turn 3. We'd sit on the top of the SUV and we'd get a great view of half the track. But it was so cool. Like you were super close. People were partying. It was kind of like the infield at IMS.
Sure.
Very similar. You're like, oh, this is awesome. Or like when you pull up to a road course and you can pull up your car and you just hang out. Road America is the same way. And then when Michael took it over, he put in all these carnival rides. Nobody cares about no fucking carnival rides during an IndyCar race. I'm sorry.
We're here for a race, not for a carnival.
That's not going to work. Like, and you have they had the race at like 6 o'clock at night on a Sunday. Like people go to work.
Yeah,
people drinking all day. They don't want to go to work. It's hot. It's like 90 degrees. When it was in first week of June, it's like 70. It's perfect. The Indy 500 just ended, so you're all amped up.
Yeah.
It was a totally different atmosphere. Road America is the same no matter when you go. It's awesome every time. You can go in May. You can go in June. You can go in. They used to have the race in September, and it was always super cool. Like the leaves would be changing. It was awesome. Like watching them go through the forest. Essentially, it'd be like a Formula One race, like when they go to like Spa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, here it is. It's fall. It's super cool. Like IndyCar now is in June, and it's still a great event. But September would be awesome.
That would be awesome. Oh yeah.
Early September.
Great
before
camping
it gets
weather.
Cold.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
No, if it was
right
like
before it changes.
early to mid September, it'd be perfect.
Yeah. Ooh.
So whoever at IndyCar, tell them.
Well, I think we got to work with the track too.
Vin says a fall event would be perfect.
I'm on board.
Yes.
And if they brought the Milwaukee Mile back after the Indy 500, but could somehow get State Fair on board, that'd be huge too. Double the ticket.
There you go.
I pay, $400 to get all inclusive whatever. I mean, Road America is honestly, Road America does a good thing. It's like the most affordable ticket for the entire damn weekend, and you get everything.
That's true.
True.
I mean, you go to an oval race, and they're like, "Oh, it's $80 for the ticket." And you're like, "Okay, that's fine. That's reasonable." And then your kid is half price, where at Road America, your kid under 12 is free.
Always nice.
So, okay, now I'm paying $120. Oh, well, then to get in the pits, that's another like $80 for both of you. So that's like that's more than your ticket. And it's like, so these oval tracks that say that, oh, we don't get people to go, well, that's probably why. And you can bring a cooler to beer to Road America or Mid Ohio. I've heard is pretty much the same thing, right? Or similar.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
So I haven't been able to go to Mid Ohio yet. It's on my list, but so my wife's birthday always falls on Mid Ohio weekend. So she's like, we're not going to an IndyCar race on my birthday. So that's the reason why I haven't been there yet. But I've heard very similar to Road America, just kind of smaller.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very similar. It's similar vibe. I mean, it's a different track, so there's a different vibe, but like camping is great. It's, I think with especially the permanent road courses, when they've got camping, they're like, we're not going to tell you what not to bring because the campers have all sorts of shit. Right.
You can't limit it.
Yeah.
But I think with the camping and with, let's bring a cooler of beer.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Hmm.
Yes.
So people don't care about the food. Like if I wanted to bring in a sandwich, I would, but I don't. Most places. But hey, if I can bring in an Indy 500, hey, I can bring in a cooler of beer, drink all damn day for $100. You know, I'm set.
Watch some good cars.
Yeah, exactly. Just leave me alone. You know, like
Kind of day.
these oval tracks, though. Oh, we're gonna charge you $12 for a beer.
Yeah, I got to work on that.
Yeah, like let me promote the stuff. I'm in.
You got my vote.
I'm in. I'd promote the hell out the shit. You got to
It's
get
true,
people
though.
to go first,
Yeah.
and that's the major issue.
Yeah.
We have spent a lot of time trying to solve the oval problem.
Yeah.
I think all
don't know.
IndyCar fans have.
Yes.
Like, it's just so much fun racing, but my God.
It's goddamn expensive.
Yeah.
And it's hot. It's a long day sitting in a grandstand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it makes it hard. It's not like a football game where you go. There's a little bit of tailgating, but not like a ton of it. You know,
Yeah.
like you might have a small group. Like I've tailgated with you girls in St. Louis.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it was. So yeah, I mean, you do a little bit, but not like a ton of it.
And like in
more than
Mhm.
more than likely, it's hot,
Yeah.
and you don't want to sit in a grandstand for 10 hours
Yep.
waiting for damn IndyCar.
And I think St. Louis is different because it's got that camping tie to it, so you have a better opportunity to tailgate because somebody be like, yeah, if you're just coming for the day, like park your car and find our campsite, we're all
Yeah.
chilling. Yeah.
Yeah.
And people do set up tailgating out in the like grassy parking area too.
Yeah.
They'll set up a little
I've seen
pop-up
it.
canopy, and yeah.
Yeah. Shirtless dudes and
Well, you know.
90-degree heat.
Well, it is an oval race.
And it is hot as hell in that.
It's hot.
It's
hot,
not an
yeah.
oval race if you don't have people without shirts on that should definitely be
you-
wearing shirts.
You're right.
If there's not one shirtless dude, you're doing the race wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Good point. Valid.
You know. What can you say?
Yep.
We
You girls
always-
have done it. You girls have done it more than I have.
Oh,
Oh,
we're
we
no-
always end up with some big shirtless dude by us for qualifications.
yeah.
Sweaty
mean-
as shit.
Yep.
Yep.
Somehow you're
Nashville.
hot just being next to
Nashville, I
him.
literally thought I was going to see people die.
Still surprised nobody did from heat stroke.
They might have, but they just didn't report it.
They just didn't tell anybody.
Threw them in the river.
That's why there's a river.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but that was hotter than hell.
Yeah, it was.
You know, shit.
Yeah, we need to have
Swamp.
that race in September.
That was like
So hot.
non swamp ass.
It's just ass at that point.
Yeah, it's just nasty.
It was
one
beyond
nasty,
swamp ass.
nasty. Yeah, it was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I'll ever go to that one again, just because it was too goddamn hot.
I get that. It was
In
very hot.
Wisconsin, we like summer breezes and shit.
We got that
Yeah,
like breeze.
down in
Yeah.
that. It's down in a swamp, so there's
Yeah.
there's no breeze.
Nope.
No.
That was a funny race though. So I had a guy. He sat next to me, and he was all dressed up, like dress shirt, tucked in, and I'm like, dude, aren't you hot? He had like boat shoes on. His
God.
girlfriend or wife or whatever had like a fancy dress on, and I'm like, y'all know where you are? And they're like, oh yeah, we got free tickets. And they're like, so where's the paddock?
Oh no.
And I'm like, huh? And I'm like, the race is about to start. And they're like, oh no. We don't know anything about the race. We just want to go to the paddock because that's where our tickets are for. And I'm like, dude, the paddock's empty right now because they're about to race. I'm like, homeboy, get with the program. You know what I'm like? Try to hint to him, and he's just not getting it.
Oh, bless him.
I'm like, you can go. I'm like, but there's literally nothing there. I'm
Like it's
a
not
parking
gonna
lot.
be cool.
No, it's an empty parking lot, dude. They literally were like, oh yeah, they're gonna go. And then I think she popped up like an umbrella for the sun, and I'm like, oh man, it's a different world down there.
Just for a minute, you just kind of be like, y'all ain't from around here, are you? And they're like,
No,
technically they are,
like,
but
from Wisconsin, I'm far as shit, but Jesus, man, they
Oh.
were out of their element for sure.
That's hilarious. I ended up, and I won't say what team, but this year I ended up standing next to a sponsor of a team for the start of the race, and they lean over to me while they're doing like the 3-wide fuckery.
Okay.
And then trying to go back to the 2x2. And he just leans over and he goes, do you have any idea what the hell is going on right now?
Oh yeah.
Like,
people are
yeah.
clueless.
I was like, yeah, they're doing 3-wide as an homage to the Indy 500, and now they've got to align themselves back in actual starting order of 2x2. He goes, seems rather complicated for a race start, doesn't it? And I was like, oh yeah, and it's a clusterfuck every year.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
and
sir,
they're
and they
gonna shoot off
can
some
never get it
fireworks
right.
and gonna light shit on fire, and people are gonna crash. It's gonna be awesome.
Yep.
Hey, we're gonna put debris on the track before a fast oval race. It's cool.
Yeah. So one year we went to the Milwaukee Mile when Andretti already had it, so it was kind of on its down slope. And we pull up in the park, and we were just gonna buy tickets like as you walked in. Sure. And we pull up in the parking lot, and a guy next to us pulls up, and he's like, "Hey, do you guys want a ticket?" And we're like, "Huh?" Pulls out a stack of like hundreds of tickets.
The hell?
And I'm like, "Are you like a scalper?" And that was when it was sponsored by ABC Supply. And he goes, "No, I work for ABC Supply, and they gave me a stack of these." And he's like, "I don't know what to do with them."
He's like,
I'm like,
help me, I can't get rid of them.
I'm like, "Sure, I'll take one. I'll take a couple. Give them
We'll take some off your hands."
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you're just gonna get rid of them, sure.
Right, that's more beer money.
Yep.
I'm in. That's more stupid shit I can buy and put in my garage.
Let me take this ticket money and put it in the beer money pocket.
Right. That's all it's about.
Absolutely.
Dude, my screen is like crazy. I all of a sudden got a map of the world. Yeah.
God, I don't know what it's doing now.
No, are we back to good now?
I can hear you, so we're all good.
All right, maps going. We're good.
Okay. Who knows?
Oh. All right. Well, Vince, we won't steal too much more of your time.
Okay. Hopefully I didn't bore everybody.
No, this has been great.
Okay.
It's been great to have you on. So if you're not familiar with Ben and his art, make sure you check it out. He does some really, really cool stuff. And not just cars.
Not just cars.
Thanks, ladies. It was fun.
Where can the people find you?
Let's see. www.vindesignsart.com or Twitter. Hold on, let me check my handle. I don't ever remember what it is.
At Vincent Venegas.
Nope, it's Vin Designs 2013.
No, it's not. It's Vin
I
Designs
wrote it
something.
down.
I just didn't know what year it was.
2013.
2013?
Yeah, yes.
See, that's when the madness started, 2013.
Okay. I wrote it and I was like, I know that's not in a rude way. I know that's not his birthday.
No.
I was going to be nice and I was like, maybe it's when he and his wife got married.
No. That's actually September 10th, 2011, 9/10/11. So I would not ever forget.
You would not forget. Smart man. You know what? Smart man. Smart man.
Very nice.
Head of the curve.
There you go.
That's awesome. All right. And we will link to Vince's stuff, as always, from our website and social media, www.fastcarsfastgirls.com.
All right. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.